Hey guys, Kurt again from Time Machine Transport. So I'm on this I'm on this news kick lately. Like I said, I'm just staying home to rest my body. And anyways, so like I said, I'm watching way more TV than I normally do. But all the stuff that I'm putting on here makes a lot of sense. So this is what the health officials are saying, because they were arresting moms for going into or taking their children to parks. They arrested the mom in Idaho, and some other mothers were arrested for doing the same thing. They also arrested the lady down in Dallas that opened up her salon early and put her in jail. And there's many other people that have been arrested for opening up their businesses and also for standing too close. So, but I guess the same rules don't apply. It really boggles my mind how the people out there rioting or protesting, not the rioters and looters are different than the protesters, supposedly. So the people out there protesting for, the right reason. I believe Black Lives Matter. I believe all lives matter. But it is kind of strange and unfathomable how they were locking up these people for, not obeying the state's rules for lockdown and the quarantining and standing too close together and so on and so on. But yet people can come out and protest and riot and loot without getting arrested. So this was very interesting on Fox by Tucker Carlson. So I'll play it.
Well, for months, as you well remember, the people in charge told you that they were unilaterally canceling your constitutional rights. You no longer had the right to assemble, to speak freely, to worship. You thought those were guaranteed by the Bill of Rights? Not anymore. And in fact, in many parts of the country, people still don't have those rights. But our leaders said they had no choice but to take them away. This was a medical emergency. It was more important than your rights. They were lying. We always thought they were lying. Now we know for sure. Because today we have an open letter signed by more than 1,200 doctors, professionals, and public health officials. And it explains that the riots you're watching must be allowed, while any other demonstration, like one you might participate in, must be suppressed. Quote, as public health advocates, we do not condemn these gatherings as risky for COVID-19 transmission. But they clarify this should not be confused with a permissive stance on all gatherings, particularly protests against stay-at-home orders. Those actions not only oppose public health interventions, but they are also rooted in white nationalism and run contrary to respect for black lives. In other words, anybody who complains about being locked down is a racist, except the people who refuse to be locked down because they're protesting racism. Heads I win, tails you lose. These are public health officials. This is insanity. Just days ago, you were told that any kind of gathering could kill thousands of people. You'd be a murderer. You'd be a genocidal murderer. That was before we learned that viruses have their own woke political agenda. And so the only rallies we should ban are those being held by people who have the wrong ideas, people who want to earn a living or go to church. Those protests are racism. And this is all coming from people who lecture you about science. You wouldn't recognize science if they got in the shower with them, but they're still lecturing about science, which is always a pretext for ways to destroy our country and control your life. And by the way, to fleece you. Why are we paying for any of this crap, by the way? That's a question we're going to address in some detail next week. But right now, it's enough to know this is a sham. It was a front for tyrants to inflict their personal neuroses and their desire for control on the United States of America, and to do it outside the democratic process, outside democratic norms. Every person who signed this letter is a faker. None of them represent science. We should never listen to any of them again. Host Laura Logan.
So that's pretty interesting. It's quite odd that people are going out and protesting for a death of the murder of a man. And I'm glad all 4 cops are being prosecuted to the full extent of the law. But it is pretty sad that people will go out and protest and riot and loot for that, but you won't go out and protest for your constitutional rights. And then you hear these so-called professionals that are with the health organization, how they can twist things and tell you and deny you the right to your First Amendment, and actually going after our Second Amendment and our Fourth Amendment. So the thing is how is it that these idiots can tell us that it's okay to go out and protest for, Black Lives Matter or whatever the case is, but if any one of these people were to go out and protest for your constitutional rights, that they're not okay with that. But yet they tell us if you do assemble, you could infect thousands and thousands. But yeah, you can go out and protest for this stuff and not infect anybody. So I guess the coronavirus or the COVID-19 fake smokescreen has... It basically can choose who it wants to cling itself onto and who it doesn't. So anyways, I just found it pretty interesting that how they're hypocrites, and they totally they obviously want to separate us for anything that's good and keep us together for anything that's bad. But you want to talk about total contradiction? I think it's pretty sad and pretty crazy. But anyways, I hope it was informative, and please like and subscribe to the channel, and I hope this finds you well. Ciao.